Right, welcome ladies and gents. Mark Zuckerberg is changing everything. Obviously, very, very clearly doesn't have any conviction behind what he does, right? However, I think there's an argument to be had for if he enacts the things he says he's going to enact, they could be a benefit regardless of his motives, right? So this is interesting for a few reasons. It's going to change societal landscape if he enacts what he says he's going to enact. Doesn't mean you have to trust him, of course, obviously. But I thought I'd report on it nonetheless because it is interesting. So please do hit subscribe if you're new here. Or if you're a returning viewer that is not yet subscribed. There's a lot of you and I can't stress it enough. It would be fantastic to have you here more often. It really does help the channel out and you do keep coming back. So consider hitting subscribe. Anyway, this is on Deadline. Reported yesterday. It is also important to note Mark Zuckerberg's copping a lot of flack because he was on Joe Rogan and he was explaining a lot of stuff as well. Where, yeah, he didn't come across the best, to be honest. He came across good on certain things, not so good on others. And again, that sort of statement of fair weather or going where the wind blows, this kind of thing. That is what Mark Zuckerberg is doing. He doesn't have conviction behind what he says. You know, he doesn't believe in free speech. He doesn't believe in these things at all. But, and it is a big but, if he does the things he says he's going to, enabling people to talk more freely is nothing but a good thing, and it will fundamentally change where we are as a society, and it will also fundamentally move, kicking and screaming in some instances, the Overton window further right, which is nothing but a good thing when it has been dragged so far to the left that what is deemed normal now is nothing but sheer utter insanity. So regardless of his motives, regardless whether he believes it or not, if he does what he says he's going to do, that's good. Anyway, so what's he done? Well, he's axing diversity initiatives. Good. Good. It's pure nonsense. Utter nonsense. So it says this: Meta is axing its diversity programs, adding their names to a growing list of firms across corporate America, making similar moves in anticipation of Donald Trump's return to the White House. Isn't it interesting, right, how they didn't do any of this when Donald Trump was in power the first time? And it's not, I mean, it's not a surprise. The reason is that, you know, Trump won by a landslide, right? He won the popular vote, won everything, cleaned house, which just goes to show really how far the Overton window is now moving. And it's good. It's a good thing. I'm very, very happy that the Overton window is moving. I'm so sick of having a pussyfoot around what I say when a lot of what I say is just logical common sense. It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. So anyway, the BBC reports that Meta Platforms, the owner of Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp, sent a memo to staff about the decision, citing, quote, a shifting legal and political landscape. Or policy landscape, sorry. Well, the legal landscape is the fact that you're going to get sued to fucking oblivion soon. Like, I'm amazed that these companies haven't been sued as it is. I'm amazed that the British government haven't been sued. The civil service in the UK directly discriminates against white people. That's illegal. It's racist. It's just nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. Meritocracy. Bring it back. So there's been other companies to make similar recruitment decisions regarding diversity efforts since Trump won the US election in November, include Walmart and McDonald's. Good. It says McDonald. Is that McDonald or McDonald's? I don't know. Anyway, so the BBC says the memo from Meta said that the term DEI, diversity, equity and inclusion, had become charged. It's not become charged. It was always charged because anyone with half a brain cell would go, this is just sanctioned sexism and racism. Piss off. Anyone with a brain cell would say that. Didn't become charged. It was always charged. It said that while it would continue to look for diverse staff, but finish seeking selection from a pool specifically of diverse candidates. Why are you going out your way to look for diverse staff? If someone wants the job and they are diverse, brilliant. If they don't, and they're not diverse, okay. You should be looking from a pool of your own applications. You shouldn't. This is still racism and sexism. It still is. We're going to look for diverse staff. Why? Be colorblind. You shouldn't be practicing any element of DEI. No element of DEI should survive. People honestly will look back. Like, there's a viral video clip going around of the LA fire chief, who's like a short, fat lesbian, who's like, well, if you got yourself in a fire, you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Like, I'm not going to drag you out. Like, words to that effect. People die because of DEI. Fundamentally, people will die because of DEI and have done. Right? I can say with the utmost certainty that people have died because of DEI. There's no way in hell that DEI has not caused deaths. Diversity, equity and inclusion is nonsense. You want the best person for the job. Point blank. That's it. So Amazon previously sent a memo to staff in December saying it was winding down outdated programs and materials related to representation and inclusion. That's not strictly true. They've still got their DEI playbook online. Amazon confirmed a deadline that Candy Castleberry, VP of Inclusive Experiences and Technology, wrote to staff on December 16th saying, "We're aiming to complete that by the end of 2024. We believe this is important work, so we'll keep investing in programs that help us reflect those audiences, help employees grow, thrive and connect, and we remain dedicated to delivering inclusive experiences for customers, employees and communities around the world." So the BBC reports that JP Morgan and Chase and BlackRock this week pulled out of groups focused on risks from climate change. It follows Meta's announcement 4 days ago that it was ending a fact-checking program previously criticised by Trump and Republicans. That's because it was partisan. It was absolutely biased. Deadline reported Tuesday that Zuckerberg had posted a video saying the recent elections. I covered this actually on my podcast. So it is quite funny. And then you've got people like this. Bloody Joe Biden slamming Meta and Mark Zuckerberg for dropping fact-checking in what could be outgoing POTUS last press conference. Yeah? I'm surprised he fucking knows where he is. Telling the truth matters. Well, everyone was silenced for telling the truth. People can't say, hey, that jab that everyone had definitely could have caused some issues there. Hey, that jab that everyone had definitely didn't go through all the rigorous testing that it should have done. I mean, people would have been slammed for that. It's just nonsense. So yeah, you can shut up, you old moron. And he just says this: the whole idea of walking away from fact-checking, as well as not reporting anything having to do with discrimination, I find to be contrary to American justice. The way we walk about one another, or the way we talk about one another, it's just completely contrary to everything America is about. We want to tell the truth. We haven't always done it in our nation. We want to tell the truth, and the idea that, you know, a billionaire can buy something and say, by the way, from this point on, we're not going to fact check anything, when you have millions of people going online, reading this stuff. Yeah, I think it's really shameful. Do you fact check everyone in the street? Shut up, you pleb. Online is literally, it's just another town hall space. It's just a space where people communicate. You don't need to fact check everything. Okay? It's just nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. And it is expressly political. So there you go. More Mark Zuckerberg stuff. But, again, if he does what he says he's going to do, allows speech to be freer, he's never going to allow free speech, but if he allows speech to be freer, that is nothing but a good thing. Leave your thoughts down below. I genuinely be curious to hear. Take care. Bye-bye now.